His niece was 15. Even when I tucked all my long brown hair under the helmet, it was still loose. "No," I mumbled. I was barely able to see past the rim. "Good." He gave a firm tap on my head. I had watched Ali face off against Frazier in an old fight on TV, and they weren't wearing headgear. From my angle now, that seemed crazy. Polly hollered to the group of boys, "Jess is ready for a throwdown." I thought I was ready to take someone down, but judging by my dad's body language, I could tell he wasn't so sure. There was a 50% chance of a throwdown, 50% chance I got between the ropes and forgot everything I had learned. I never sparred with a boy before, and I'm pretty sure my opponent had never sparred with a girl. Actually, I never sparred with anyone before. When you first start training, you shadow box. At 7 years old, that's all I'd ever done, box my own shadow. A few jabs with the coach, some basic practice rounds with a couple other kids, but nothing close to a one-on-one match. The boy I was about to spar with had a funny little cupcake of an afro and was older by 3 years and stronger. He was also much taller than I expected, which meant my uppercuts might not exactly hit where I wanted them to. I'd have to adjust. I'd learn on the fly. "Here she is," I heard his coach say to the boy on the other side of the ring, gesturing in my direction. The boy was pacing back and forth in his corner like a garbage-tipping raccoon, his back to me, anxious, unsure. He nodded to his coach a few times before looking over. But the moment he saw me, he chuckled in relief. Then something crossed his mind, and his face froze. What if he lost to me? A little girl! I guess it would have been harder for him to lose to me than for me to lose to him. Secretly, everybody fears the underdog. I was definitely the underdog. Still, he was sweating it. I could see it glistening on his forehead. Or maybe that was just a Vaseline on his face. I figured he was probably wondering how to hit a girl. Low and tough, but not too tough. Actually, I really had no idea what he was thinking. It looked like we were both a little anxious, but for different reasons. If I won, it would be a shocker, and if he lost, it would be a shocker. "Don't be nervous, Greggy. You got this," his mother, dressed up for the occasion, cheered below the ropes. Bobby adjusted my gloves and slipped in my mouthpiece as I listened to the last-minute advice from Polly. "Make sure you bring the punches back to your face where you can block better. Make sure to keep your head constantly moving. Don't be a still target. You want to be moving and avoid punches." But it went in one ear and out the other. The wobbly headgear made me feel like a bobblehead figurine. And that's the last thing I wanted to feel like. One solid strike, and my head would pop off. Polly called us to the center of the ring for a quick review of basic rules. The boy, Greg, made it to the center of the ring much faster than I did and looked a little smug as he waited for me to meet him. As I got closer to him, I could see that he was much chubbier than I expected. Maybe his swings would be slow, I reasoned. Maybe he would be sluggish and flat-footed. Bobby had told me to think about my strengths when I boxed. Even if I couldn't reach his face, maybe my little fast body was my strength. Polly would be the ref for the sparring match. If it were an actual sanctioned match, we'd have an official referee. But he did both jobs, as coach and referee, with fairness. Polly finished going over the rules. Greg and I bumped fists, as is the traditional way to start a match, and then we moved back to our corners. 3 rounds, 1.5 minutes each round. You good with that? Polly looked at me. He could tell I was a ball of nerves. His face seemed to say, "You don't have to do this, you know." It's hard to talk when you're wearing a mouthpiece, but loudly so my opponent could hear, I managed to get out, "Yeah, 3 rounds. We're good with that." Polly nodded. He knew I was ready. "Hey," I hear the boy puked right before he came out here, Bobby said, giving me a big smile. He always had a way of making me laugh.